So here is your grid for the pre-final for senior Rotax. We now have out of 76 drivers, 36, and here is your grid. So Zsombor Kovac will start from pole position. Matthew Higgins will be alongside. Then it will be Kai Gillets and Lewis Gilbert. Devian Hurst and David Outlechner, row 3. Petra Babichkova and Kai Hunter, row 4. Row 5, completing the top 10, will be Archie Walker and last year's Junior Rotax European champion, Ethan Jeff Hall. Austin Lee and Miska Kaskinen will be on row 6 ahead of Colin Vashni, Matis Turlo, Vic Stevens, Tobias Clausen, Montego Maassen, Nevio Fischer, Janis Diak and Jules Roussel. Alberto Hurtado, Hugo Latorre Vega, William Christensen, Dion van Verven, Laurent Legault, Camille McFarlane, Jort van Wyk, Tommy van der Stroys, Marceau Lecrie, Sverre Ubben complete the top 30. The 6 drivers making it through from the second chance heat earlier on. Ollie Stevens, Angus Scrivener, Paul Hamburg, Jens Christensen, Henry Beaumont, and Latvia's Gustavs Usakovs. So yesterday's heat winners were Zsombor Kovac, Austin Lee, Lewis Gilbert, Matthew Higgins, Kai Hunter, and also Ethan Jeff Hall, with Kovac, Gilbert, Higgins, and Hunter all winning 2 heats apiece. Now we go from 10 minutes plus an additional lap to 14 minutes plus an additional lap. So the drivers now making their way through the 18th and final corner. The senior Rotax pre-final gets ready and now builds speed. Lights are out. We are racing. Down into turn number 1, and Higgins and Kovac go side to side, and Higgins looked to the outside through turn 2, but the Hungarian kept himself on the racing line. And Kai Gillet's already trying to make good his intentions, and now he's put himself up from 8th. Looks to be in 6th position for the youngster from Belgium, as there has been a coming together up the hill, going through turn number 4. One cart sitting by the sidelines, I'm afraid, might be from DHR. And there's another driver as well, and that's on the outskirts of the left-hander going through into turn 3. Driver walking away from the cart under their own steam. But there has been a change of the lead. Matthew Higgins leads the way. Zsombor Kovac, look, well, it may not be. I'm just going to keep my eyes out for who's going to come through the final corner first. It is Matthew Higgins, Zsombor Kovac, Petra Babichkova, David Outlechner, and Archie Walker ran out the top 5. Kai Gillet's in 6. Austin Lee, Colin Vashni, Alberto Hurtado, and Vic Stevens. And there has been quite a big old development. And I think Kai Hunter was one of those that was involved. Austin Lee makes the move up the inside. Through on more, well, I was trying to keep an eye on who that driver was. So Austin Lee has now made his way. That would have been through, if that's a KR Sport Cart, that will be Colin Vashni, which it is the case. So up into 7. Alberto Hurtado and also Kai Gillet's, well, Kai Gillet's and Archie Walker have now got through on Petra Babichkova. So has David Outlechner. But Higgins and Kovac have pulled away considerably. Lewis Gilbert is the fastest driver out there, and it's Devian Horst and Kai Hunter that were eliminated in the pre-final on the opening lap. Lewis Gilbert, who started third, is now all the way down in 28th. So the pride of Scotland has got his work cut out for him. A flood of senior Rotaxes go through into turn number 12 as someone was getting very, very close. William Christensen was nearly 2 wheels up into the air whilst mounting the curbs through turn 13 on Colin Vajny. And Austin Lee now has gotten past Petra Babičková for 6th place. Now it's down to the likes of Alt Lechner, Walker and Gilets. And Walker now pulls the trigger up the inside of the 365 from Poland. Through turn 1 goes the 391 from KR Sports. So these three have, if they want to start catching up to the two in front, they've got to start moving. And as Gilets bumps over the curbs through turn 7, nearly touches sidewalls on Alt Lechner, gets through at turn 8, but then the Polish driver gets the over-under done through turn 9 and retakes 4th position from the 374 from Tremolo in Belgium. If they continue to fight amongst each other as, oh my goodness, William Christensen nearly caught the right rear of Colin Vajny going through turn 13. It's all starting to close on in as the 373 of Paul Hamburg has just pulled into Parc Fermé. That's the Estonian's race, unfortunately, at an abrupt end. And despite the fact that he is out of the race, Marcel Lecqui is also out. Kai Hunter has been hit with a post-race 3-second time penalty, maybe for 2 wheels out of the tram lines. I'll wait for that to be confirmed on the live timing. But it's still even Stevens between Higgins and Kovac. They want to make sure that they can scarper away as far as possible from the drivers in behind them, being led by the 391 of Archie Walker from KR Sport. He's being followed, well, he was being followed, he's now being overtaken. If that happens, which it might do shortly, as Alt Lechner from Strawberry Racing pulls alongside. This is going to allow Gilets to get through, and Walker drops from 3rd to 5th through turn 16. And now Austin Lee and Petra Babičková are starting to close on in. So we're down to 32 out of 36 senior Rotax drivers in this race. As Babičková getting very, very close to the back bumper of Austin Lee. So now it is a 5-kart squabble over 3rd position. Alt Lechner leads that battle ahead of Gilets, Walker, Lee and Babičková. Colin Vajny is about 0.8 of a second away from the quintet in front. So we're now completing lap number 6, nearly at the halfway point of this race as Walker pulls out from behind. Alt Lechner as Gilets now is in 3rd position. Austin Lee now looking to go through, and so does Petra Babičková. Well, Alt Lechner got strung up like a kipper right there. Everyone else said the slipstream, and Alt Lechner was powerless to do anything against it. So we're halfway through the race, and this battle for 3rd position is intensifying. in terms of aggressive overtaking and atmosphere. Austin Lee now trying to see if he can get through on Archie Walker for what will be 4th position. Higgins and Kovac are as they were, 1st and 2nd respectively. Gilets is now starting to pull away from those behind as he holds on to 3rd position in the meantime. Austin Lee now trying to go into battle with Archie Walker. Has to be very, very careful about who is behind him with the likes of Babichkova, Outlechner, and now Colin Vajny is there and has just got through on turn 5. So has taken a page out of Petra Babichkova's books from yesterday's heats. So the chess games continue here in the senior Rotax pre-final. And Higgins continues to lead the way. Zombor Kovac just staying with him. There's an almighty squabble behind as Vajny and Babichkova continue to battle. And whilst they continue to do so, that will allow those in front to carry on going forward. Archie Walker's just been shown the black and white flag. But Higgins still keeping a hold of the race lead. Kovac is right with them as he goes, as they both go over the top of the hill at turn number 8. So now, oh right, another development. Wrong starting position for David Outlechner, thereby gets hit with a 5-second time penalty as a direct result. Cheers coming in on the YouTube chat for the likes of Hugo Latorre Vega and also Colin Vajny, amongst others. As the senior Rotax field flood their way along this long start-finish straight here at Campillos. We are down to the last 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Austin Lee has gotten past the likes of Archie Walker as all. There's a bit of a tussle as Babichkova went for a move on Colin Vajny. 2 wheels on the dirt for the pole as Archie Walker gets through, round through turn number 8. Well, the hits, they keep on coming, don't they? Outlechner finds himself into the mire now because look at the train behind him. He's got William Christensen just behind. Vic Stevens is there. Ethan Jeff Hall. Mattis Turlo to boot. And then there's quite a few more behind that as well. It was very, very close indeed with a slight touch between Petra Babichkova and Colin Vajny, which allowed Archie Walker to get through. And he now will be in 5th position. But look at the amount of drivers there. Gustav Zusarkovs has literally flown up the order, all right? He was stone dead last, nearly, well, over 11 minutes ago. He is now in 12th position. I spoke to him this morning. I said, what's your hopes for this weekend? Maybe top 5, maybe top 10. I want a top 10. That'll be the end of a good weekend. Well, that performance just there, even if he gets the front fairing penalty, is absolute dynamite. And he's just behind Mattis Tuller. Well, he was until he just overtook him. And then it's getting a bit close, nearly a pit box manoeuvre there. Montego Masson up the inside of William Christensen for position. And indeed, Robert Garraway, a fantastic drive from Gustav Zusarkovs. His dad Yanis behind the tools this weekend as always. But Kovac and Higgins, 2nd and 1st respectively, now go on to lap number 12. The one thing I've noticed about Higgins and Kovac is neither is giving anything away. They're just comfortably getting both carts to the checkered without any fracas, any unwanted incidents. And then they're going to be, I think it's going to be a battle royale in the final later on today. And the latest retirement, unfortunately, was Miska Kaskinen from Finland, the 385, who started in 12th. And Lewis Gilbert has also made a good old resurgence up the order, not only being the only one of the, well, if not the only driver that has got underneath 60 seconds, 59.990. And he currently now sits in 14th position, having dropped all the way down to just outside of the top 25. But with 30 seconds to go, sometimes it's about just keeping things calm under the service, even though you might be paddling like heck underneath for the two up front. Kai Relitz has managed to go a little bit quicker than the two up front by probably the best part of nearly a tenth of a second, but this will put him into a very good position for the final this afternoon. Now the timer has expired, and Higgins and Kovac lead the way going through turn 7, up towards turn number 8. So they make their way through turns 13 and 14, down through the back straightaway with a slight kink to the right-hand side before the braking zone into turn 16. The last lap board will come out this time, and Matthew Higgins will be the first one to see it, followed by Zsombor Kovac. 1.58 kilometres remain to go on to the 15th and final lap of the senior Rotax pre-final. So through turn 5, into 6, now into the right-hander at 7, over to the crest of the hill here at turn 8, then down through the corkscrew. Kovac is looking, well, he's sort of telegraphing a little bit here. He's trying to see if he can maybe get one up on Higgins, because he was on pole position for the pre-final, and now looks to possibly try and make the move, but Higgins anticipated it nicely. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Higgins looking over his right shoulder. So go through 15 into 16 for the final time. 2 more corners remain. Kovac trying to do something, I think, here. He might try and outrun Higgins down to the checkered. But Higgins puts the pedal to the metal and wins the pre-final by 0.156 of a second. Kai Relitz rounds out the top 3, covered by just under a second after 15 laps of racing. Austin Lee and Petra Babičková complete your provisional top 5. David Altlechner will be demoted by 5 seconds, which will put him down to just at the bottom part of the top 20, having been in the wrong starting position. So all that hard work undone. We also got another penalty coming to the way of the 303, which is a 5-second time penalty for pushing, and that goes to Petra Babičková. So she will be out of the top 5, promoting Archie Walker to 5th place. So that changes the complexity of things. 11th was Gustav Zusakos behind Vic Stevens. William Christensen, Lewis Gilbert, Janis Diak, Tommy van der Stroys, Matthias Turlo, Camille McFarlane, Jor van Wijk, Alberto Hurtado and Tobias Clausen rounding out the top 20. Ollie Stevens, Angus Scrivener, Lauren Legault, Sverre Ubben, Jules Roussel, Nevio Fischer, Montego Marson, Hugo Latorre Vega. And Outlation's day has gone from bad to worse. He's just had a 5-second time penalty issued for causing a collision. So he's going to be well down the back of the field for the final later on today. Along with that, Hugo Latorre Vega, Henry Beaumont, Jens Christensen, Dion van Verven rounding out the 31 finishers. But we take a look back at the highlights of the senior Rotax pre-final. The 36 highly motivated senior Rotax drivers going into the tram lines. There is a bit of jocularity on the front part of the grid. Looks like that might have been where that might have been the case with regards to Outlationer, but there was also some contact between him and Gilets as Matthew Higgins went side by side with Zsombor Kovac. There's Devian Rost walking away from turn 3. And also Kai Hunter having to sit by the sidelines. Drivers were getting a bit too close as Austin Lee had to react and keep out of the way of Colin Vajny. Archie Walker would then make his way through past on David Outlationer, and then this move here from Kai Gilets bumped over the curbs. There was room for the Belgian to make the move, and he made the move stick by turn 8, but then Outlationer got the undercut. More battling was to be had between Austin Lee and Petra Babičková, along with the 365 of Outlationer, who dropped 3 positions in one corner. Then there was this touch between Petra Babičková and Colin Vajny that allowed Archie Walker to try and get through on the 366, and Vajny 2 wheels on the dust going out of turn number 7. Gustav Zusarkov's had a significant resurgent drive, making up 24 positions over the course of the 15-lap race at this 1.58-kilometre circuit. There was more dramas a little bit further back, and that would have been the incident between Marcel Leclerc and Paul Hamburg. But it was Matthew Higgins from Trafalgar in Wales that goes into the final on pole position.